So when we were at the Sunday Symposium this last weekend, which, by the way, you can join us, sundaysymposium.com. It's in Los Angeles once a month. I came up with this rule. Someone was asking a question about, hey, we're getting ready to move to Los Angeles, and we've got all this stuff. And Ryan was talking about, we've got the Minimalist Rule Book, 16 Rules for Living with Less. You can implement some of these rules like the spontaneous combustion rule or the 90-90 rule, the seasonality rule, or the just-in-case rule or the just-for-when rule or the emergency items rule. We have 16 different rules in there. Or you can even play the 30-day minimalism game. You can download the free calendar on our website, theminimalists.com, and you can play this little friendly competition together. And I came up with this new rule recently. I call it the didn't know rule. And here's how it goes. If you find something you didn't know you owned, you can give yourself permission to let go. And how often does this happen? Because we have so many things. Every American has 300,000 items in their home on average. Of course, there are some things that you own. You forgot you owned it, right? Oh, I didn't even know I still had that. I didn't even know we ever had this. I didn't know we owned that. I didn't know we had this. I didn't know we had this. We find something in the attic. We find something in the basement. We find something in the garage or the storage locker or some box that's tucked away in the closet. I didn't know I owned that. Well, that's functionally like not owning it. And if I didn't know I owned something, that is the perfect time for me to give myself permission to let that thing go.
Man, hey, that's so good. Say that pithy,
whatever you want to call it, TK.
Say that pithy thing you led with again.
All right, so here's the pithy thing.
Yeah.
If you find something you didn't know you owned, you can give yourself permission to get rid of it.
Hey, how do you not know you own something?
Right.
He's talking about when you come across it and you're like, oh, I didn't even know I owned that thing.
I know, but how do you get there?
Because we accumulate things just in case. And we hold on to them just in case. And eventually we forget about those things because that in case never comes. And then eventually you come across it when you're moving and you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I bought that thing because I thought maybe one day I would want to wear that Speedo at the beach. and then you're like, oh yeah, you know what? I totally forgot I even owned that Speedo. I can get rid of it. Now, TK, I think you should totally wear that Speedo.
Especially the leopard print. It looks good on you, man. That is your color. Now, Ryan, you were...
Amnesia produced by excess. So such an interesting...
I love that band.
It's a Radiohead spin-off band. And what you were talking about there is in case never happens. So if in case never happens, what happens? You have a thing that is just.
Right.
It's just sitting there.
Right.
It's just taking up space. It's just in the way. We have all of these things that we've amassed. Quite often they're just given to us. Here, you have this, you have this. We get these free things, these tchotchkes. We buy something because it's on sale. And all of a sudden, I'm holding on to it. I'll just put it here. I'll tuck it away for later. I'll hold on to it just in case. And then we have hundreds of thousands of just in case items in our home. And that's when we realize I didn't even know I owned it, or I didn't know I still have that thing. Or maybe my wife brought something home and she's not thinking about it anymore. I've never given it much thought. And now it's just sitting there. And so if I didn't know I still own the item, I can give myself permission to let it go. I got a list here of 12 things that I own.
I just love your listicles.
That aren't very minimalist.
Man.
And I would really call this the problem with duplicates. But it's not really a problem because I own these 12 things. I own 2 toothbrushes. We've talked about this when we did the house tour once. I showed you my junk drawer. And so I keep a toothbrush in my junk drawer, which is a very nicely organized junk drawer. In fact, we turned that into a YouTube video. You can find that over at youtube.com/theminimalist. So you tour my minimalist junk drawer. And when you see that junk drawer, there's a toothbrush in there. But of course, I have a toothbrush in my bathroom as well. Now, why do I have that? There's a practical use for that. And so this is where minimalism comes in handy, because minimalism isn't saying, well, I guess I should only have one thing. Otherwise, it's waste. Otherwise, it's stupid. Otherwise, it's wrong. Or otherwise, it's not very minimalist of you. Well, I have a separate toothbrush in the kitchen because that's where I brush my teeth in the morning. I get up before my wife and I don't want to wake her up. And so if I'm brushing my teeth in the bedroom, which is right, or the bathroom right next to our bed, it's a huge problem because it's going to wake her up most mornings. She's a fairly light sleeper. So I go out into the kitchen, I brush my teeth out there, and I have a second toothbrush in order to do that. And that way she is not disturbed by my incessant brushing.
By the way, he's like the Floyd Mayweather of toothbrushes. I heard an interviewer ask Floyd, why do you have 2 girlfriends? And he says, because one is too close to none. And that's how Josh is. He's the Floyd Mayweather of toothbrushes.
I just want to say I keep completely different things in my drunk drawer. That is what we're talking about, right?
So all these little tiny bottles,
Yeah.
they're empty. The drunk drawer turned into a junk drawer.
Oh,
I'm
man.
a one-woman man and a one toothbrush brusher.
Mm.
There you go.
Tweet
Minimalist.
that, Professor Sean. Tweet that.
Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalists private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.